business is all about and life is all about having the right conversations with the right people at the right time. And everything that we talked about in scaling today is along those lines. How do you leverage social media, content, and automation to have the right conversations with the right people at the right time without sounding like a robot?
The collaborative entrepreneur. Hey guys, how do you scale a company quickly? If you're in business, you want to scale. You want to grow, you want to expand, and you should want to expand, especially when economies around are contracting. It's a great opportunity for you to expand, but you got to learn the secrets to scaling. Scaling a business swiftly is a challenge for many entrepreneurs when they're dreaming of conquering and growing their businesses about. Our guest today is a living testament to turning those dreams into a reality, as he's done so in his own businesses and for other businesses. So welcome to the Collaborative Entrepreneur today. I'm your host, Tracy Currington, and we are the show where we aim to build partnerships that can grow your businesses. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or maybe you're just a startup enthusiast, you're simply eager to glean some insights from those who've been in the trenches, they've done the work, they've helped others. You are going to be helped on this show today. What I want to do is I want to unravel some of the secrets to scaling a business and how can we do that even faster and discover the mindset that propels people forward to get into the fast lane towards success. And our guest has started multiple successful for-profit companies. And by the way, super young and filled with wisdom. He's built two businesses during 3 years at college at Florida State University, and there's a great story behind that. I can't wait for him to share that with you. He scaled both his own and other companies through sales and tech and content. And I know that our conversation today will offer you exactly what you need right now for the next 30, 35 minutes. It'll take your thinking to the next level and even your business to the next level. So please help me welcome to the call Daniel Wax. Daniel, welcome to the call today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Tracy.
Pleasure. Absolutely. So excited to have you here. And what I love about LinkedIn is that we get to connect with people just like you. And I appreciated the way that you reached out to me through when we connected on LinkedIn. It wasn't this bang, let me tell you something. It was just like, hey, what are you growing in? How are you learning? I was like, it was pure, it was organic, it was, like a buddy just trying to introduce himself. Like I just want to know somebody. So thank you for that, for doing that instead of trying to pound me with a sale or something like that. And I really appreciate that. I think there's something lacking in the industry, especially in social media from that today, because everybody wants to hurry up and get a deal from somebody instead of growing with them to find out even if they're, you're like-minded or like value. So thank you for that. So maybe we can start here. I mean, you're a young man in your mid-20s, correct?
Yep.
Tell our viewers about your story. You shared a little bit with me about that because where you're at now in scaling and being an entrepreneur and in the space that you're in right now, inventing and creating, and I love you said before the call about what you're doing to help people in 2030. I mean, we're not even there yet, and like you're thinking in the future, and I love that, leaning into the future. But let's drop back to the past real quick. Your family, your upbringing, what led you into this entrepreneurial space, and then this idea of scaling that we're going to be discussing today. Give us the backdrop.
Yeah. So I come from pretty traditional family, lawyers, vets, doctors, realtor, kind of those traditional paths, except they did it a little bit differently, where almost every one of my family that I looked up to as a role model ran their own practice in some capacity or were an entrepreneur in some capacity. And so something that was instilled in me very young was mindset. And I remember a lunch I had that I'll actually bring up where I was about 12 years old and my father had enrolled with a business coach. And I think everyone needs a mentor or coach or someone just to steer their mind correctly. But he invested in a business coach named David Nagel, who specifically focuses on how to grow a small law firm. And he came back from a seminar that he had with him and took me to lunch. And he told me about one thing that he went over with his coach, which was simply mindset. And all it was confidence in yourself, because all he told my father was, you're charging too little. I want you to 10x your price and just say that on the next call.
Mm.
And that his retainer was 10 times what it normally was, and the person just said, wire sent. And we had gone to lunch that day, and the whole thing didn't focus on money. It focused on the confidence that he had to be able to do that and that it provided him. And I say that because everything sprouted from mindset from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
Where I started doing tutoring, I was played sports, did all of the above. Tutoring was always big to me. And one of my friends one day, we were at his house, me and like six of my friends, we were 16 years old. And he goes, I was talking with the principal of Alapata Elementary School, which is an inner city neighborhood, an inner city school inside Miami-Dade County here in Miami. And he told me they don't get after school tutoring, they don't get after school sports, their property taxes can't cover it. So they don't have access to any of these opportunities to advance their education. They don't have
Mm.
tutoring, they don't have sports, they don't have computer science, they don't have the right textbooks. And we realized that this was a problem almost in every inner city school here. So we started Miami Youth Empowerment. We that day we started with one school. By the next week we had volunteers, and within 1 year we were in 8 K through 8 in elementary schools in Greater Miami area, providing them after school tutoring, sports, public speaking, computer science, doing textbook drives. And very quickly I noticed something, and it became my mission, which was education is the key to opportunity, the key to advancement in any scenario. The
Mm.
only way that education happens is by having the right conversations with the right people at the right time. Luckily, we were able to have a right conversation with the principal of that one school at the right time about the right thing. And
Yeah.
so I because that's going to be an overarching concept throughout this, where I really like moving into post-COVID work. Business is all about, and life is all about having the right conversations with the right people at the right time. And
Mm.
everything that we talk about in scaling today is along those lines. How do you leverage social media content and automation to have the right conversations with the right people at the right time without sounding like a robot?
Oh, okay. We got to pause because that was that, guys. If you did not hear that, that was gold. You got to go back, recap, watch the episode again, get that spot right there. I think success leaves clues. You've heard that, I've heard that, and knowing somebody's backdrop and just this idea of you tutoring somebody, and then like what's that led you to do? Because I know like the other side of the story that you're about to get into. I just love that, and I just want our audience to connect with this path that he's on already. I was thinking about when you said about tutoring, how you always love tutoring. Well, what is tutoring? You're advancing their scale. I mean, like you're scaling them in their education because you're the right person having the right conversation at a time when they're like, hey, I can't do this by myself. I need help. And they're reaching out to you like that's the right time, right? I'm like, like it hurts bad enough that like I got to do something about this. So please
Mhm.
keep on. I needed to capitalize on that because that was a very special moment. Education happens with the right conversation, the right people at the right time. Brilliant. Okay, keep on going.
Yeah. So from there, basically, we realized I ended up going to college from there, but only for a little bit. So we talked about this a little earlier, but basically, I go to college and I got kicked out within my first semester there. While I'm kicked out of college, I decided to do two things. One, I was doing commission only sales, selling craft tap handles, selling custom tap handles to craft breweries. A lot of fun times. Uh, at the same time, I learned no, I learned a lot there. On it was a company that didn't provide any technology or infrastructure, so it was really self-sourced, full cycle. I had to learn how to research, how to cold call, how to message, and that's what we'll talk about a little later. How I started using LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the second piece to it was I decided to take the same mission from the nonprofit that we went in and helped everyone with tutoring, and we decided to create Tutor Direct. So Tutor Direct was my first for-profit business. And this was a software in 2016 that was the slogan was tutoring shouldn't break the bank, education at less than the cost of a Chipotle bowl.
Mm.
We did $8 an hour. It cost $1 less than a Chipotle bowl, so that was our tagline. And we got the Florida government to actually subsidize anyone who had free or reduced lunch. So that
That's
means anyone who was lower income, the tutoring sessions, we actually got the government to pay for them.
okay.
Uh,
So okay, I got to pause here just because I want to highlight the brilliance here, guys. You got to understand. 2016. How old are you?
Um, I was just 18.
So 18 years old, you produce this software that doesn't break the bank, that promotes scalability in one's education, and you've incorporated the Florida state government in a way to fund it. How did they utilize
Yeah, so this is actually a really fun story because we built all the partnerships, and this is when we get to start talking about valuations.
it?
So we
Okay.
built all these partnerships before the software is ready because we had these relationships from the nonprofit.
Yeah.
So we get all these partnerships lined up, and we go to pitch the idea now to go get the software developed after the partnerships were already lined up. Pitch the idea, we raise the money, win a Florida State grant competition. It was all bootstrapped up to that. It was all bootstrapped beyond that, so no equity was given up outside of advisors. And then basically, we get the money from the grant, build out the first MVP of the product, put it out into the market, and after our beta test with about 100 users, we got an offer.
Hmm.
Was that quick, and at 18 years old, when you get an offer for 100,000,
Yeah.
I didn't know any better. I took it. Looking back now, it was a great learning experience.
Yeah.
That I probably could have held on to more, but it was
Yeah.
an amazing learning experience. But it was great that that happened because, as we talked about earlier, that was the impetus for me going back to school.
Hmm.
Was because of all that, I got a full ride to go back to college with for a
Like the
degree.
same college that kicked you out.
Yep, same college.
That's
Uh,
that's amazing in itself.
yeah,
And
it
they
was
gave you a full ride. So we're going to kick you out. And then how much time passed before they said we're going to let you back in and we're going to pay for
a year and a half.
it?
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
big proponent of you create your own destiny.
Yeah. Mhm.
Uh, and I think at the end of the day, like there isn't lucky people. There's people who put activity in and the
Yeah.
right activity in
Yeah.
that will lead to opportunity. There's not really luck involved.
Right.
Uh, I mean, yes, there's some semblance of luck to things,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, it's what you put in what is going to dictate what happens.
Yeah, it's amazing how much effort are found in lucky people.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
put the right effort in the right direction,
yeah.
consistent. Yeah, excellent. Love it. Love it. Okay. All right. So then you've come back to college and you completed your degree there.
Yep. So I did a degree in commercial entrepreneurship with a focus in STEM commercialization.
Mm,
So how to bring new emerging technologies to market.
I see.
So the rest of my college was I didn't have exams in my college. It was build a business and show profitability. So
Hmm.
first I went very mission based. We created a biodegradable straw that detected drugs in people's drinks to stop drink spiking and date raping.
Wow.
Uh, that ended up getting we didn't know that you had to go through FDA approval. You had to go through FDA approval. We were able to. The good news is, even if you cannot bring something to market, IP laws are great. Patents have value. So if you
Hmm.
will create a product, even if you cannot bring it to market, the patent may have value.
Hmm.
So that was really awesome, and create a couple other things. Competitor to Keurig, flipped EB5 visas for a little. Those are business. It's when an international citizen buys a business in the U.S. over a couple $1 million, they get citizenship. So a lot of different things. But eventually, what I realized was throughout everything that I did, I was really good at getting the product off the ground, getting the initial early adopters, but I couldn't scale properly beyond me. And the
Mm,
reason why that, some listeners you might be feeling this right now is I couldn't develop people. While you can hire people and you can manage people, if you hire and manage without supporting and developing, your
mm,
money's going out the door.
Got to say that again. Got to say, okay. So if you hire and manage without, tell me that again.
If you hire and manage without supporting and developing,
Mm,
your money's going out the door.
it's good. Love that. Love that. So the team that you're building, in the business that you were structured, did you find yourself hitting the same ceiling at the same levels?
Every time.
Mm. So what was the catalyst that said, "Oh my goodness, that's why"?
Yeah. I hired on 3 interns through the college, through the same college actually. We went to that college. By the end of the semester, it was time for them to intern with someone else,
Hmm.
and that wasn't their fault. And that
Hmm.
was learn as a learning experience. And I actually took that with my mentor at the time, Jeff Whalen, who was one of the entrepreneurs in residence. And I went with him, and he basically looked at everything that I was doing, and he said, "You have a problem managing people."
Hmm.
And so that's when I made a decision that I was going to step away from entrepreneurship for a little bit. And I was going to take on a role in a startup where I could dive into leadership quickly. So
Okay.
for anyone listening to this who wants to get a leadership role quickly early in life, who wants to set aside their career early on, I use Angel.co. Identify a company that has a product that is uniquely positioned to win over the next couple years.
Mm.
Identify a founding team that actually, like we were just talking about, they're lucky people. They put in the effort consistently. They develop people.
Yeah.
If you can identify those two things and you can be one of the first to join that team, you will be in leadership as long as you produce for them.
Mm. Great
So
advice.
that's
Great.
that's exactly what I did. I didn't want to go in and as a BDR and AE with anyone, even though I had the sales skill already.
Mm.
Uh, that is what I did. So I joined this company as a commission only hire first in the summer of 2020 when COVID breaks out in Indiana. And I fly out and move there from Miami Beach in the middle of COVID.
Mm.
To be with these founders in person. Proximity breeds results.
Yeah. Right.
So I fly out and I stay there. And fast forward within a year and a half, because I was only there about a year and a half, we were Inc number five, we were Inc 500 something. So we were top 500 fastest growing companies. We had 100 some odd employees. I was managing a team of 70 people across our SDR team, closers, and marketing, and flying around and speaking at events on how to scale and how to LinkedIn because
Hmm.
every we grew our sales team was the new model, which we'll dive in, which is what dictated what I do now.
Hmm.
Uh, which is in the past, there's the predictable revenue model,
Mm. Okay.
which is the Salesforce model that he wrote the book on.
Hmm.
Let's hire SDRs, let's hire closers, let's send this amount of automated emails, let's do this amount of dials. And that's great when you think about traditional channels. The way that we grew that team was through social media, niche online influencers, backed by traditional marketing. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the number one thing I learned there, like we talked about, is I went to develop people. So
Mm.
when they put me into a management role, my whole focus, and I started to love it. I started to take pride in seeing people happy, in seeing
Mm.
someone, I got a sale and seeing someone change who they are. My favorite thing in the world was seeing a new person come into sales or come into anything, being so afraid to talk to anyone. And within 6 months, they're the ones telling people, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. That's awesome. And that's just so fits like you. I mean, the history that you shared. I mean, like your passion for tutoring people. Here you are, you're 16 years old and you're tutoring people with your buddy and stuff like that. And then like to see that passion, no doubt there's that bump, that fix, that adrenaline kick when oh you got it, how'd you do on the exam and stuff. And then going into real life, you got these 70 people under you. Somebody's just started out, they get trained, they get developed, and in 6 months, I mean, they're crushing it. I yeah, I get that. I understand. So one of the big takeaways that I'm getting so far on so far as scalability is you could have all the right mechanics of it, right? But without people as your greatest competitive advantage, you're going to ceiling. You're going to only go so far.
So I thought.
Okay.
So I thought. And I do think you only go so far without people. And there's two options you can go to duplicate yourself. There's
Okay.
delegation and automation.
Hmm.
And so nowadays I focus on the secondary automation, because there you are able to duplicate yourself to a certain point with automation. I would say if you are able to reach 1 million a year in your business by yourself without automation or without people, with automation, you'll probably be able to reach 5 million. As you
Mm.
know. With people, that'll now rise.
Hmm.
So it all
Mm.
depends on how you want to grow.
Mm. What the okay? So is that a big learn as far as like when your time in Indiana? Because I wanted because where you went right there, that was brilliant. Delegation and automation to duplicate yourself, and delegation can get you so far, but to go to the next level, you're going to have to automate. And so
Sure.
no doubt there's going to be a hybrid in between that.
Yeah, so the hybrid's perfect where, anytime that you look at what you want to, how you need to grow in the next level and how you need to grow your business, I always look at it like what activities are you taking? So for
Hmm.
example, this is what I recommend for anyone who's solopreneuring, multiple founders in a business, or is wearing multiple hats in their business. You should lay out every single aspect of your business and break it out by role. For example, right now, I'm putting on my founder hat, being on a podcast. I'm
Yeah.
putting on my chief revenue officer, I'm on a podcast. If I was to jump into a client call after this, I'm putting on my customer success hat. If I
Mm.
was to jump to a sales call, that's a discovery call, I'm putting on my SDR hat. If
Mm.
I'm jumping into a closing call, I'm putting on my AE hat. Now, the
Mm.
reason why I say that's broken up in every direction is it's broken down on what the responsibilities are and what is highest priority in the business that moves the needle,
Mm.
what takes the least amount of time. And now all these different avenues are looked at, and the things that are low level activities that don't matter much to the business, how can we automate those?
Mm.
If you can't automate those, they can be delegated to a VA, those lower level activities, to a virtual assistant for cheaper.
Sure.
At the second rung, the mid-level activities, say these are the secondary ones, can we automate reporting? Can we automate X, whatever it is, can we automate it? If you can't automate it, you see if you can delegate it until you get to the tasks that you should be doing day in, day out.
Mm. Mm. So good. Okay, so I just like parenthetical note. I just got to know, when is your book coming out?
I got to
This
write one.
this way you delegate, automate, AI, because I know you've got some experience with AI, no doubt. What I mean, like this, people need this. What I mean, like I've gotten golden. I've got my remarkables. I mean, like it's filled right now with just golden nuggets and takeaways that you're dropping right here. So bring us to, and now we're scaling, and guys, you're watching this, you're like wondering, hey, when's the scale? I mean, like if you haven't been paying attention, there's scale all the way throughout this. The whole story is one of scalability. It's, I mean, from like finding your passion and learning, what is it that you suck at? I mean, like Daniel mentioned, yeah, I wasn't good at managing people, and I had to learn some things, and I needed to step back away, go to a startup, grow that company, manage those 70 people, learn some things about it, and then coming away with this delegation and automation. Bring us up to today. How is it today that you're able to scale a company, a business, whether it's startup, it's existing, it's stuck? What is it that, like, when somebody says, Daniel, gotta have your help?
Yeah. So what I help with right now is I generate your online audience to convert for the opportunities that you want. So what I
Mm.
mean by that is if you are someone who is sourcing investment, we'll make it so that you source investment very quickly without trading your time. If you are looking to bring in more clients, we will fill your pipeline without trading your time.
Mm.
All through these same processes where the same exact structures that we took is what self-disrupt my company is today.
Mm.
So for an example, I'll give an example, or not an example. We talked about what education is. And education is, having the right conversations with the right people at the right time. That's also how you find opportunity in
Mm.
business or in life. So
Mm.
if you think about that on just a human perspective, where again it's having the right conversations with the right people at the right time, all that social media automation, everything has served to do is increase the speed at which you can do that. The negative to this is it's made people more averse to responding because everyone's pitch slapping, like you said, which is why I send them that I sent.
You say,
So,
you said pitch slapping?
yep.
I had never heard that before. Thank you for that. That's another. I know I love the slang because I know there's another rendering of that. But thank you for that. I needed to know what in the world that's called because I don't like it when I get it.
No, no one does. No one does. But it's really cool. So what we realized was, after working with that org, growing out their sales organization, first I worked with a couple other companies growing out their tech stack, training their sales team how to use it. And again, we need to create opportunity. We need to have the right conversations with the right people at the right time. The way that this happens online today, because that's where people spend their time. The way that this happens today is one, I love LinkedIn for B2B. So the way that this happens today is you position your online profile for your audience. I'm going to drop some knowledge here. When you position your profile, this is how you build it out. You should be thinking of doing it one of two ways. You either marry the niche and date the product, or you marry the product and date the niche. Now, what I mean by this is how you build an online profile that doesn't scream, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, because no one will.
Yeah, right.
For example, my profile is all built around founder-led sales and introducing extraordinary people to extraordinary people. So my entire brand is all built for founders on how to sell better and grow your business more. So that's my niche, and I'm going to date my product because right now we have the self-disrupt product. In the future, that might be different, but they're all going to be along the lines of helping founders grow. So marrying a niche, dating a product, something I really believe in, and you do this very well as well, Tracy, where we have the quick serve restaurant industry. That is, we are married to that niche. However, while the product is coaching, advisory services, that product can really shift based on the use case. So if all of our online profile is positioned as the quick serve restaurant industry, and everything is about use cases specifically to that industry, that's gonna resonate with them a lot more than maybe a 10x post would.
Yep. Right. Yep.
And
so good.
It's positioning your profile for the audience. Now, once you position your profile, the second piece is targeting. We have so much data available out there today. You can go buy data. You can go scrape data. You can go find it. I just use LinkedIn's for free. You can search up on LinkedIn. If anyone doesn't know what this term, Boolean searching, Boolean, go look it up. Boolean searching is a way to bypass LinkedIn's filters and just look up what words are in people's profiles, which is really awesome.
Brilliant. Spell that again.
Boolean comes from the coders over at IBM with the first computer, but nowadays you can use it to find anyone you want.
Brilliant. Okay, so position. So the profile's been positioned. You're targeting. You've used the Boolean searching. What's the next step?
Yeah. So positioning, targeting. The reason why I say that as well is, remember, we want to have the right conversations with the right people at the right time. Yeah. We're going to position our profile for those right people. We're now going to go and identify who those right people are. The third thing that you're going to want to do is engage with these people. Now, in the beginning of this podcast, Tracy, you brought up what my message was to you. And it was very non-assuming. It was to start a conversation, a relationship.
Yep.
If you didn't respond to that first message, it would have offered you a free LinkedIn profile audit and an audience delivered to you. So we offer everything free, or we're trying to make networking conversations.
Yeah.
The reason why is my profile will say everything I needed to. It's positioned. Sorry about that. My profile is positioned. It'll show everyone what's happening and what's going on. If you're targeting your audience correctly and your profile shows it, well, let's just start the relationship. The fact of the matter is 3% of people that are in your audience are in a buying window right now. 97% of people are either unaware that they need your help, unaware that you can help, unaware that they have a problem, or they just don't know that they need a solution.
Yeah.
They're just okay with the problem. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, who's going to be positioned better to have the right conversation at the right time with that right person? The person who's already had a 30-minute call with them and put a person to the profile, or the random person who they've never talked with?
Right. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
So the third piece is engaging in a relationship-driven way. I call it creating genuine relationships with intentionality. You are intentionally choosing the people you are creating relationships with. Instead of going to a BNI event or a networking event, you are intentionally crafting, these are the people.
Yeah. Yeah, because in your own business, I mean, I want to work with those people that I want to work with. And so if I've targeted them based on their values and that, we're like-minded, we're like valued, we're in the same niche, we understand the same things, where I understand your problems, I get your industry, and I want to work with that person. Yeah, I'm going to be more engaging to that person because, we're speaking the same language. If we're speaking two different language, there's not going to be much conversation that we can have.
Yeah. And that's exactly it, is it's just engaging them. And some of those people, you'll have the low-hanging fruit that are very interested right away. That those are great conversations. They might even look you up beforehand. They most likely will.
So hey, let me ask you this. Okay, so some people will they'll hunt down a virtual assistant, let's say, and hey, I need an appointment setter. Leveraging out somebody who sets an appointment for you versus somebody like you that goes and, you position the person's profile correctly. So if they just hired a VA to come and have these conversations just to try to get appointments with them, or somebody like you that, exactly who this person, what the client is. This sounds like it's a whole lot more productive or profitable to go with somebody like you than just go to a VA that's just going to litter the world with cold calls or reaching out to anyone, unless you have a real process set for that VA. Is that right? Am I hearing that right?
Exactly. And we have VAs who manage our tech all the time. So everything that I'm saying, all that we do is run softwares that automate it for the whole thing under $500. We'll do content, automation, data collection, everything to have your just calendar filled with what you're looking for.
Under $500 a month?
Yeah, I think it's even less than that actually for all the softwares.
Well, you can't get a virtual assistant as a appointment setter for less than that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We've been growing pretty quickly, but with when it comes to the process itself, so this is something that's huge to acknowledge, is the idea of sending out mass outreach to people and doing that is the same reason why you see such a transfer of wealth among organizations right now. Is you have organizations that have their sales force that they continuously put butts in seats, and they're continuously hiring and firing right now. That's all the tech giants. Now, at the same time, you have startups that are emerging and are growing. What does every single startup have in common? They grow through an online influencer, whether that is a Jake Paul, a Kim Kardashian, or in most cases, like people like you and me, it is an online niche influencer that has 7,000 followers who are all in the same audience. If you are into bonsai trees, trust me, there is a bonsai tree guy. I get shown his videos. There are so many different little influencers, and what you do is you have these micro niche influencers. You can either identify them and just target their audience. At the same time, you can partner with them, or you can be the influencer yourself. So that's what we do, is we create the influence by identifying who that is, convert the low-hanging fruit, and bring those people in. You can do that with a VA. It's just having the process in place that's necessary to do it. And if you want to make sure that your VA is doing the best level activities, automate the initial outreach. Have a VA jump when someone responds.
Okay, so being able to use both of them.
Yeah, because VAs are awesome. The only thing is you need to have a process delivered to them right away.
Hmm. Yeah.
Follow that process to a T.
Excellent. Love that. Love that. Okay, so positioning profile, targeting, and then engaging with the right people. The deliverable that you see with your clients, what is that? What is that currently? When somebody does work with you and you've done this work for them, what kind of results do you get to give your clients?
Oh, yeah, we just got in 3 new testimonials today, actually. So one of them was a guy named Rick. We just put it up on our LinkedIn and website. He started with us. He was a fractional CFO who was just starting his business, who had one client on retainer. He has about a $5,000 a month retainer. And he
Mhm.
did our 5 week personal training program in our software. So what that means is our team spent 5 weeks one-on-one with him, creating his entire plan, doing his profile positioning with him, identifying his audience, creating his messaging, helping him with his content strategy. Fast forward to today, and Rick has gone from one client in about 3 months to 8 retainer clients at his highest level.
Boom.
He has
Boom.
had in his first 5 weeks with us, he had 60 prospect calls.
In his first how long?
5 weeks.
Good for him.
He had
Wonderful.
another one here who was a different one. This guy's name is Matt. And what Matt does is he redevelops old fossil fuel power plants into
Hmm.
renewable energy plants. So he is both sourcing investors in the green tech and sustainability space and securing their investment, along with identifying owners of power plants to buy them from.
Hmm.
Tim, we have added over 70 investors to his pool of investor network for you, securing enough investment to buy 3 new plants, and it has been 2 months.
Good grief. In 2 months, in 60 days.
Yep.
Wow. Those are great results, great testimonials. And I think that's the tribute to a successful business is not always just profitability and, what's your bottom line, but, are people getting the help that they've paid for? Are they getting the results? And I think people want to know that. People, they're looking, that's why there's reviews on Amazon. Like, what's the star rating? Why is it 4.5 and what kept it from being a 5 star or, if it's a 3 star? We want to know. We want to know what those reviews are. A lot of times it's an opinion or a complaint. It was late. Well, it had nothing to do with the product. It had to do with the snow, the blizzard in Buffalo. You couldn't help it, right? That's great stuff. Okay, so I know I got to bring the call down to a close, but I have thoroughly enjoyed this, dude. You're brilliant.
Yeah.
You are young and wise. I just really appreciate it, and I envy the path ahead of you. No doubt you're already doing great things, and obviously you have. From nonprofit to profit, you haven't lost your passion. You haven't lost your desire to help other people along the step, and sometimes with success, a person can go through those kinds of things. So I think when you reached out to me, and then of course, like we always do, we look up somebody and find out, to where we can know something about them. But the way that you reached out and connected with me, I appreciated that. When we got to talk just before our podcast today, I said, I like this guy. And now going through and hearing what you had to say, guys, I want to say this. I can trust this guy. The guy knows what he's talking about. So thank you very much for being a guest on the Collaborative Entrepreneur. There's 2 things I want to do. One of them is just basically how can people, what's the right way if somebody's viewing this, they can connect with you. I want to hear because I want to definitely serve you in any opportunities that you have for them. But then also, what's one thing that maybe I did not ask that you love to share and you'd like to take the opportunity to share?
Definitely. So first, for anyone who wants to reach me, you can reach me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and Instagram. I'm the same thing on both of them. Wolf of SaaS, WOLFOFSAAS. So on Instagram, it's at Wolf of SaaS, and on LinkedIn is linkedin.com/in/Wolf of SaaS, or you can just look up my name.
Excellent. Excellent.
Uh,
Wonderful. Thank you.
and
Okay.
what was the other one? One thing to share. Oof.
Maybe something I just didn't, I neglected to ask, or maybe I wouldn't even known to ask that you want to leave our viewers with.
Yeah. Um, yeah. The people who win in the end of this decade and the people who win in the early 2030s are going to be the ones who own their prospect data.
Mm.
What do I mean by this? You are probably already seeing this on a couple of social medias that you are losing access to some data. You do
Hmm.
not own your communities. That your Kajabi community maybe is not owned by you, it's owned in your Kajabi. Have something that you own that is off of social media for data and lists. If you are curating your audience and your niche currently, curate that into a newsletter, have their emails, have their phone numbers.
Uh,
Social media has changed so rapidly, you're going to want to keep contact on whatever platform it comes out in the future.
Love that. Email is not dead.
Email is not dead. The phone is still the highest degree of interruption in someone's day.
Hmm.
As much as I am a tech guy, phone is the highest degree of interruption. I still check email more times per day than my LinkedIn.
Hmm. Brilliant. Daniel, I'm certain I'm impressed. Really, truly, I am. I just you're doing some great stuff for your clients, and I'm going to have to hit you up here in just a little bit and find out how we can grow on this area together too. Maybe there's an opportunity for us together. So, thank you so much for joining me on the call today, Daniel, and taking time out from your busy schedule and your day to be with us today, and wearing a different hat.
And thank you for the kind words. I do appreciate it, Tracy.
Absolutely. And by the way, oh, go ahead. What you
I
were
was
going
saying
to say?
thanks for having me. What you were saying?
And I was just going to say to our viewers, thank you for joining the call today and following TMC Coaching. You can learn more about me and what I can do for you, what I can do for your business. If you'll hit me up at Tracy at tmccoaching.org. You can also visit our website, tmccoaching.org, and learn what it is that I do and how I can serve you. Until next time, you guys, you gotta connect with people like Daniel. You got to find those great people that are able to take you to the next level. That what they'll do is they'll elevate your thinking, like Daniel's done today for us, and they can even inspire and motivate you to dig deeper in yourself and pull out that which is going to take you to the next level in order for you to do more. So until next time, guys, take care.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Collaborative Entrepreneur Podcast. Be sure to like and follow and turn on notifications for future episodes launching every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're an entrepreneur wanting to be on the podcast, you can let us know by emailing us at Tracy at tmccoaching.org. Let us know the industry you're in, as well as your biggest wins and learns that you've achieved along the way. If you want to find out how you can work with Tracy in other ways, you can do so on all major social media platforms under 180 Turnarounds. You can also find us on our website at 180turnarounds.com. So until next time, guys, let's win together.